Welcome, beloved. Today, More Love, More Life podcast. We're talking about alcoholism. We're talking about how it affects our community, the trauma that we are dealing with. We're going to show you how this is coming from, how it's killing our families, basically, and how to get over it. So today we're interviewing one of my friends, been knowing this brother for 40 plus years, Patrick T. Barron.
40 plus, that's a long time, but it seems like yesterday. I'm just thankful that we're here today to do some curing, do some understanding. And I thank you, Mr. Hogg, and yourself, Kennedy. And it is a pleasure to be here. So let's get this thing on the roll. Let's talk about this thing called alcoholism, this graveyard deadly disease that has taken so many of us and is going to take more. So hopefully we can give birth to something that will help alleviate the pain from this and get a little more understanding of what's actually going on.
Wow. Well, we appreciate you, bro, for coming here today talking about this. So we're going to hit right to it. So you tell us your story. Tell us, or you consider yourself an alcoholic.
Definitely. That was something that took me a while to accept. I don't believe that most alcoholics understand that they're alcoholics. It could be part of the environment. It could be part of the denial. But if you are perhaps looking at every picture you're in, you're holding up a drink. If you got to get your head right at 3:30, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, if perhaps you are sitting at a liquor store before they open, that may be some indicators that you may be an alcoholic. If you're around people that always drink, it's easier to blend in. Well, this is what we do. My grandfather did this. Hell, he made corn liquor, or whatever the case may be. But I think a big part of the deception of alcohol, the spirit of alcoholism, is that we're saying, "Not me. I'm not one of those. Not them.
Right, right.
Not me." But
Okay.
yeah, it's there.
But let's go deeper into what you just said. Being an alcoholic lets you say something about blending in.
hmm
So right there it triggered something for me. What you're saying is it's a coping mechanism. It's letting you blend in. So what I'm saying is alcoholism is like a Band-Aid over something. And by being a Band-Aid, I mean you have a wound within you that you're not facing. So by not facing that wound, you're going into addiction of something that's giving you pain. It's taking away that pain. So what is the pain that you think you're fighting and the alcoholism is covering up? Because it goes deeper than just someone saying being an alcoholic. I think we go into that, we go into our addictions thinking, let's treat the addiction. But is it really the addiction, or is it the pain that's in your heart?
That's very interesting and deep. I like that. We have to uncover this stuff. Have no fear, uncover it, and then we can get some of this stuff resolved. A little bit about myself. I've started drinking at a really young age. Uh, Most of the people in my family and my neighborhood and all of my environments drink. It was the thing to do, as we say. That's what we do.
How young?
Maybe 8 or 9, but just sipping here and there after the parties, the New Year's.
She was introduced to it.
Introduced to it. It was always around. And so it didn't seem strange, so sip here and there. But when I became a teenager, I'm the youngest of 3 brothers, and both are deceased now. So there's a 5-year difference in one, my brother Peter, and a 7-year difference in my older brother Kenneth. So when they would allow me, I would follow them or emulate what they did. And most of the time I was being a grown man before I was a boy. and I did that, because it was there, and I didn't know any better, and I don't think that they knew any better. So started at a very young age, and it was fun then. But as you get older and you recount these events of your life, it isn't so funny anymore. And you get to understand when you look at it that this has been plaguing us for generations.
Right.
And,
Right.
and there's no color on it.
Mhm.
It isn't just black people. It isn't just Mexicans, white. It isn't an economic thing. It isn't homeless people, rich people, or alcoholics. It isn't education. Educated people or alcoholics. Um, it crosses all lines, and no one escapes it. Again, I think one of the turning points with me, and I'm going to get back to what you were speaking on fear earlier.
Go
Fear,
ahead.
understanding, and blending in. But I know a turning point for me was when my oldest brother committed suicide. Uh-huh. Um, I was already drinking. Then I was in the military. Then I was a young man, about 18, and I was flying home to surprise him. I'll never forget. Boston Celtics, LA Lakers, a heated rivalry. So back in the 80s, uh,
Best time for basketball.
oh, it was wonderful. You had to have been there.
Man.
And I was going to surprise him. And when I landed, and my father told me, boy, I got the surprise of my life. He had committed suicide, which we denied that for a long time. We figured someone killed him. Um, why would he do that? No way. Not my superhero. 'Cause he was not only my big brother, he was like a dad to me. When we lost him, I didn't believe in God anymore. I was angry at God.
Mm.
I was pissed off at God. How could you do that? I could still smell the blood
Wow.
from his brain, the gunshot, even today as we sit here. Um, but I'm thankful I had him for 18 years of my life. But when that happened, I didn't care anymore. And that was a part of my escape
Wow.
from reality, the separation of he not being here anymore. We're supposed to grow up to be old men together. We talked about this. We talked about growing old and what we would do
Mm.
since childhood. And now he's no longer here, my hero. And so that was very bitter. I didn't go get therapy. I don't believe anyone in my family went and got therapy. That was considered a weakness too. If you go get help, even if we did have the resources, and I don't think there was much available, but that was sort of like snitching. You're raised to be tough. Don't be no punk. Oh, take this and loke up. My brother's dead. Half his brain is missing, and I'm going to be tough.
So tell the people, what does that mean to be tough?
I think in my environment, I come from Texas, our family. I was raised in South Central most of my life. And as males, and I think females also, but more so as males, it is preached and taught that you have to be tough. Don't be a punk. Do not break at all costs. I think this charade or facade was put up because people feared it so much. You were taught that even since slavery days, be tough. You imagine what it would be like to have your wife or your daughter raped and you have to watch. And if you mumbled a word, and even sometimes if you didn't say anything, you would get killed, murdered right there while this stuff is going on. So it was taught to be tough to get through things. You have to be tough to make it. We don't have enough food to eat. Oh, look at this refrigerator. It has an onion and some Arm & Hammer baking soda in there. Be tough. Drink some water. It's crazy. It's a taught escape to not face reality.
Wow. I mean, that's deep right there because you just hit on something. If you was taught to be tough, you was taught not to feel your emotions. And if you was taught not to feel your emotion, when you start drinking, that alcoholism brings into a new spirit into you. And that spirit lets you start feeling things. So we're touching on the wound that's really in you.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother committing suicide. You drinking at 8 years old. They changing who you are. So let's go back to that 8-year-old that decided to take a sip of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to him and try to remember. Talk to that child of what he was going through, what he was saying. Why did he decide to drink that drink that took his life for the next 40, 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
Because you lost something in you. You lost your innocence. And I don't think we realize that because our surroundings, our neighborhood, our culture, we're coincide with what we see.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, go back to that 8-year-old, and what was he telling you? Was he screaming out? Did you lose him at that time? Did you put him to the back burner? Well, I'm sure within that time you had something in you, but the teachings of your brothers wiped him out.
I'm going to interject this, and then I'm going to answer your question. You spoke earlier about spirits. Why do you think they call it wine and spirits? You see this on many liquor stores and throughout. In the process of making alcohol, distilling it, there comes a vapor or a mist. And if you see in I Dream of Jeannie or any movie, when the genie comes out the bottle, these spirits come out. When you drink, there are spirits that come out. I don't care who you are. People have been raped, murdered, lost everything they have after drinking. They're different people because of the spirits. And I'm here to say that there are spirits out here, good and bad. We all have them. There are good and bad spirits. When that alcohol hits, it's going to take you a road of depraving your mind, of being with your natural spirit. It's going to alter it. That's that substance abuse. And you're not going to be yourself. You're going to be another spirit. But going back to what you were speaking on, that 8-year-old, again, I'm the youngest of 3 sons. That 8-year-old wanted to be loved. Okay? We can run a race on that.
Do it, baby.
Period. Just about being loved. I think now I'm starting to get an understanding. I'm 55 now. I'm 55. You would be, what, 68. But learn how to love. Yo, I'm just kidding. We've been together since we were teenagers. I love that guy. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, hit it. I don't want to deter you. Go ahead.
Yeah, the desire to be loved. I think that is one of the greatest things that any human being desires, more so than money, more so than fame, whatever it is you think you want to achieve. And so within being desiring love, I wanted to fit in, blend in with this older, tougher crowd, which were my brothers or my uncles or the neighborhood guys. Back then, everybody raised you. Now you can't say to anything to somebody's kids. You got some badass kids out here too. Y'all watch your kids. But back then, you would get chastised and disciplined. And some of these people that we were looking up to, we wanted to emulate. I did, rather. And that part of blending in was a big part of it. Well, he's got a pint in his back pocket. He's got one in his truck. He's got one in his saddle. It was everywhere. And I wanted to be a part of that acceptance. Not knowing that all I really need to do is accept myself. But I didn't understand that then. And we're also, again, the teaching. I will keep hitting on that is so important to evolve. Getting exposure and evolving with understanding. Please, guys, take a look at yourself, at what you're doing. That's why I'm here today, to give birth to some of this stuff. Who are we? And what are we actually doing? But I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you went deep, but I want you to elaborate more on that love, that little kid. because this is where this is forming. This is forming in our childhood, and you hit on something that you wanted love. So you wanted to be accepted. So by being accepted, you went with the program of what your brothers was teaching. But they also wanted to be loved. So someone taught them that program. So there it is. That curse keep going generation after generation.
It did. And let's say this, not to lay any blame, but we're talking about environment. We're talking about families. My father drank. On his death certificate, the cause was alcohol-related consumption.
And how old was he?
My father was 63 when he passed 19 years ago.
Wow.
January 5th, it'll be 20 years. He drank all of his life that I'm aware of. So I was in my 30s when he passed. But I don't believe I ever saw a day where he did not drink. At work, at home, anything. You know, and that's funny. Recently I was in Texas talking to one of my cousins that grew up with him. So he's about 81, 82 now. My father would be 82. He'd be 83 this year, November 28th, actually, Thanksgiving. But I was talking to one of my cousins he grew up with, and I was just asking him questions about my father, because I knew a loving man that worked hard and would give you the shirt off his back. But the wrong day, the wrong time, that toughness, when he said, I'll blow your head off, he may really mean it, because he always kept a weapon. Most people I know have kept weapons. It goes back to that toughness again. But my cousin told me that my uncle, my father's brother, right next to him, he died when they were in their 20s. And he said that they were very close. He died when I was a baby, or maybe right before I was, so I didn't know him. I grew up with my cousins, his kids, and we're still close today. But they said that he turned it up more so after his brother's death. You know, again, I was just telling you about my oldest brother's suicide.
Right.
Now, his brother was murdered on the pool hall. Somebody in there poisoned him. And he saw all this, and he could never, he functioned, but that weighed on his mind, I'm sure, most of his life. And like I said, he was a man of little emotions, too. He would never tell you. As a matter of fact, the day he died, I sat with him. We drank all that night. He died in my house with me, and he told me he was going to pass the next day. And when I got home from work, he was laying in there, and he had passed away. But it all kind of ties in together. The love, the understanding, the toughness, all these different emotions. But what were we taught? You see that pattern? My father drank. My grandfather he drank also.
Right.
My grandmother drank. So people, it's true that DNA carries a lot of weight in your existence. It's no joke. I would see my father drunk, and I was like, man, I'm never gonna be like that. He's arguing. He's very volatile. Ain't no telling what he done did, but now he done got to us. The whole family is, oh shit, what kind of mood is he in today? Because he may love you to death, or he may explode on you.
So that did made you hyper aware, because you had to get in tune to your environment and what was coming in the house. So you had to watch this man movement, action, for you to stay safe. And that's what addiction is happening. That's what's creating this stuff. We're not feeling safe. So to feel safe, we have to get into something that will change and bring out emotion. Because for your father not to face his emotions, there's things that happen to him in his life. Mm-hmm. So have you figured out the pain that he was going through? Because you spoke of DNA. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it may be in the DNA, but I believe also it's in our environment. It's in the pain. It's in the wound that we're not healing. Because everything you spoke of, nobody went and got help. Nobody talked about it.
That was considered weak.
Right.
You're not being tough. That's for white people. You go do that. Shit.
So
Let's
if they
go to
pushed
the
it under
store.
the rug,
Yeah,
you was taught to push it under the rug.
certainly.
So while you pushing under the rug, you went to the bottle.
Certainly.
Because the bottle and that spirit made you a different person.
Oh, definitely. You know, and even I remember I came to you one time, and this was towards the end of my drinking when I knew that I didn't want to live like this anymore. Um, the pain I'm causing, myself, functioning alcoholic to a desperado. You know, same thing I saw my father. I might love you, but then I might have a pistol on my lap or, you know, something very devious, something wrong. And being able to sit, I had to go to God because I could not quit on my own. I quit. I quit several times, even once for 8 years. And I came back worse. I mean, worse. If you're talking about worse, where people don't want to be around you. Now, I've always ran my own business. I've worked for a lot of people too, and grand opportunities that I ran into the ground by not yielding and understanding that this is tearing me up. This is killing me. I'm tough. I can make it through this. I don't need any help. I'm not like one of them. This is what we do. We drink, and you know, one day we die. But the thought of getting help, it would be like being ashamed. You know, the so-called thing they say about snitching. Oh, don't be no snitch. You let somebody say you going away for 100 years, you'll probably be telling a couple of stories, you know.
Are you getting help now?
Oh, all the time. And it had to come from, first of all, me accepting this alcoholism, accepting it. I do several different therapists. I'm a veteran. I've worked through programs with the VA and other groups too. See, you can go to school and have a master's or a doctorate on alcoholism, but if you've never been an alcoholic, you can't tell me shit. That'd be like me explaining how to have a period or a baby, but I'm a male. I can't do that. You see? So what I did, and I found out, let me go talk to recovering alcoholics. And wow, it is some stories out there. Some of these people now are some of my best friends in this world, and I love them and I appreciate them so much because I would be able to open up. You remember that fear that we spoke of, the facade of being tough? These people have gone through those doors before me. Some of them lost everything. Marriages, children, spouses behind that. Some of them were the cause, the drivers of the cars. Then killed 4 people, and they're the only ones survived. But that helped me quite a bit. I would encourage anyone, whatever it is, gambling, shopping, smoking, pornography, whatever it is that you think you may have a problem with, get with some people that are going through it and not afraid to admit it. You know, we don't want to tell. When you see social media and things, people are always showing you the good things. They never speak of the things that are really going on. It's that facade again. When all we really want is love.
Right, and everything you just said went back to love. So when you connect with people that's going through what you're going through, you connect them with a loving environment that understand you. So again, we hitting the wound, not the Band-Aid. The Band-Aid and the symptom is alcohol. The wound is loneliness. So you now going with a group and you combating that loneliness and you getting love. So we need to focus on the wound. The wound is what's killing us.
That's man, that is so strong there. That's such a valid point that okay, I don't drink anymore. Thank you, Lord. But I still have anger problems. I still have, what do they call it? ADT. You can't sit down. Or is that the alarm company? What is it?
ADD.
ADD. Yeah. I get up early and I got to start moving around. And then I may be doing 2 or 3 things and take on a 4th thing and just start out of nowhere. Now I got 5 things going on. How can I do something good? But you hit on that point that let's go deeper. What's actually wrong with you? Who can I tell about this? How can I tell? I don't want to feel vulnerable because I was taught to be tough. And I've seen many men and women that have died broken in a million pieces being tough. On my second brother, Peter's, he was the middle brother, deathbed. He was also an alcoholic. He had a stroke and an aneurysm, but alcohol played a very big part of his demise. Mm-hmm. And on his deathbed, I didn't. He called me Spanky. He said, "Spanky, go get us one," because we drink these little shots, 10, 12, 14 of those a day. You're another creature. But he asked me to go get him one. Had I known he was going to pass early in the next morning, and I stayed with him, I held his hand as he passed, I might have got us a couple. But I'm like, no, this can't be. But that's what he was thinking about, knowing that he may not ever get up from that bed again.
Right.
And that it stuck with me for a while. I'm learning to forgive myself too, but that wouldn't have been the right thing to do. But again, if I'd have known that that would be the last time that I would be able to hug him with breath in his body, I might have celebrated that with him.
I get that.
Yeah.
But to sit there and want that drink again tells you he was in so much pain within his soul, within his spirit, bro.
Within his soul. He died angry.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's what we got to start paying attention to. Mm-hmm. It's not your alcoholism. Mm-hmm. What are you hurting from?
That's it.
We got to get to the problem of this. Mm-hmm. And that's where they benefiting, because they know we're not getting to the problem, so we're going to get the bottle, we're going to do the pornography, we're going to go through the women, the women going to go through the man. Sure. Nobody going back to understand where is this pain coming from, and all this pain is being formed somewhere in childhood. And it's not to blame your parents, because they dealing with the pain that they never healed. Mm-hmm. But if we here now, it's up to us to break this cycle.
You know, the Bible talk about, now I won't get religious. I'm not a religious person. I am spiritual, though. It says, in all you get an understanding. And daily I pray for that. I've learned to forgive and accept life and accept people and get more understanding. And it has brought about such a peace that you couldn't even pay for. Nothing can buy this. It's the understanding, but it's also sitting in what you've gone through, and let's go back to what you were saying, the deeper things that we don't resolve, that the things that we hide in the families, because we don't want the neighbors to think, it's some messed up things going around, and they're getting passed down. Let's bring it out. I was telling you earlier, without drinking, I realized I have an anger problem. I have an attitude problem. I have a communication problem. I have a problem understanding. Do I really know how to handle my finances? What's going on? Who am I? And in an understanding mode, read, go sit around people, listen to, educate yourself on who you are. But you have to sit in where you come from and where you are at the moment, and then make a decision on where you want to go. That's one of the biggest problems in relationships. I spoke earlier. Did I say I had a communication problem?
Yes, sir.
I think we all do. All of us humans. We blame the women blame us.
Right.
Whitey did it. No, the Japs did it. I swear it was the Mexicans. Everybody's blaming everybody. It's stupid. It's all a game that I believe that people that, and even the wealthy can't get away from this. But trust me, the wealthy do study poor people. I never met a wealthy person that wanted to trade places with me. It never happened, and probably never will. But they do studies on people, and therefore they can put products out to have you addicted, whatever it may be, to feed that. You can't go on social media without seeing a woman with her ass out. And I'm an ass man, too. All right. But that's what you see. And you don't even know this woman. She could be the worst person you'd ever want to meet in your life, but that's what you're glued to, and that's what is projected. Now our daughters are twerking. Now you got grandmas twerking.
Right.
And it looks good. Or it's the thing. This is what we do.
Right.
But I'm not just going to expose the women. I'm not just going to snitch on y'all. I'm going to snitch on us, too. We got some men that are just as bad. Perverts, rapists. We talk about drinking. Go get them some ENJ. Go get some Hennessy. Let her order what she wants. Later on, it's on.
Right.
Might even make a movie of it. And we really have to look at this stuff. It comes from the pain, the lack of understanding, the lack of communication. So I pray that whatever we're discussing today can bring something out in someone and say, who am I? When the cameras are off, and help fix some things. We all need each other. We all need to love one another. I don't even know how to say I love you to certain people.
I get it.
Just learning, brother.
Right. So it's up in you where you don't know how to open up. You're not facing your emotions. Mm-hmm. You hiding your emotions, and by you picking up that bottle lets out new things. So you spoke about women and men, but that alcohol and your trauma is bonding you in relationship. Mm-hmm. So even when it comes to that woman that you meeting while you drunk, she get free, she's ready to open up, you're ready to be more outgoing, all because the spirit of that bottle is now making you project something that you cannot be when you sober.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's doing a lot. But with that said, we're going to come back again for this interview. We're going to finish up part 2 because right now we got to go to the break, and we're going to end it right there. But be ready again because we're coming right back. PTB, Patrick Todd Barron, is coming back to you. Uncle Love, we're going to get into this a little deeper to heal our people. Peace. One love.
Love you guys.
All we need is love to make it through another day.